Hello, Fireway community. Today we'll have two short stories from our /fire. The first one is brought to you from user adist unders. Here it goes. I've worked for decades toward fire, but lately I just feel invisible advice request. I've been working in my career for about 20 years now, and like many people here, I made a lot of sacrifices to get ahead financially. I'd even say I gave up my 20s to build the foundation for the life I have now, and I don't regret this at all. My fire journey has always been private, something I never talked about with friends or family until I met my husband. I've been super fortunate that he's been 100% supportive and shares my fire goals. Lately though, I've been struggling with burnout and feeling invisible. After a management change at work, my new boss dismisses my ideas until someone else repeats them, then suddenly they're on board. My confidence has tanked and job interviews haven't gone well either. I feel demoralized and trapped at my job. At least my net worth reminds me that I can commit to long-term goals and follow through. Still, it's discouraging when people don't see that. In social settings, whenever the topic of money comes up, everyone automatically talks to my husband, even though I've been managing our investments and building wealth for decades before meeting him. And if I choose to retire before him, people would probably assume that he's supporting me. I know I shouldn't care what others think, but it's tough when how people perceive you doesn't match your reality. I know my life is my validation, but it is a lonely journey. Dear, I feel invisible at work and socially despite being financially independent. Anyone else experience this? How did you deal with this emotionally or socially? It seems to me like OP's issues are twofold. Firstly, some frustrations at work with new management. Changes are never easy, and especially at work, which constitute the bulk of our routine. I would sure be annoyed if I always came up with the good ideas at work and my superiors would credit them to others. I don't see much solution here but talking to the management and explaining your point of view. If you're still not heard or understand, then perhaps it's time to start looking elsewhere. These are the kind of situation we can get stuck in during the boring middle of the fire process. I guess the entire point of fire is to free yourself from this sort of lousy work situation. Keep the course OP, and perhaps you can find better opportunity at a different workplace. Secondly, OP lacks recognition from our peers in her personal life. She found a great husband who is on board with her fire goals and participates, but she feels she is the main driver to this. Now, I don't know about you, but I think most fire folks have the ability to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term benefits. To me, this is the case here. It sounds like OP needs the immediate validation when the focus should be the internal validation she will get when firing. If it is really a big discomfort, perhaps OP should have a talk to the hubby and nicely ask him to highlight her significant help in the future. Or perhaps OP can just speak up the next time someone assumes all the process towards achieving fire. I understand OP's frustrations here, but I have never really shared them personally. What do you think? Fire away. Leave a comment. Now the second story is brought to us by a dentist that considers the opportunity cost of long years of studying. Here is user Henfruiteater's story. I am dentist. Opportunity cost of additional time at school is crazy. Most people in this sub are very good at saving a significant amount of their income. We all know that time is the secret ingredient to letting your money grow. I went to school to be an engineer and then went on to more school to be a dentist. That's 8 years of school. There are people that go to even more than me in medicine. The amount of extra money you have to earn per year to make up for the extra school costs, and more importantly, the missed years of income, are tremendous. I do believe that dentistry is a very lucrative career, and I am currently 4 years out and have played my first 4 years as an aggressive catch-up game. I invest basically everything. Let's make a scenario. We are going to ignore inflation. We are just going to assume that each person invests 1/3 of their income. We will ignore the differences in tax brackets and nuances of buying homes early and stuff like that. Engineer Ernie is 22, he makes $110,000, he invests 1/3 of his income into the stock market, he returns 8% per year until he is 60. He starts at age 22 with a $0 net worth. Dentist Dan is 26, he invests 1/3 of his income until he is 60. Dan starts at age 26 with a minus $400K net worth due to student loans. Medical Mike is 30, he invests 1/3 of his income until he is 60. Mike starts out at age 30 with a minus $350K net worth due to student loans. To match Engineer Ernie's net worth by age 60, Dentist Dan needs to earn about $256,000 per year starting at age 26. Or Medical Mike needs to earn about $307,000 per year starting at age 30. I will say though, the other third of their income that they live on is bigger, so they have a fancier lifestyle during their working years in this scenario. This is my exact scenario. I was looking at as a mechanical engineer. I had no debt and I had a salary around 110K available. I think people look and say, dentists make 200K probably? So it seems like a better job. Forgetting about the time value of money. These numbers can be different for everybody, but in my opinion it's not worth going to dental school unless you have a drive to earn at least 350K or specifically love the field. I love the job and I've been very strategic to make sure that I did not get behind. OP makes a very valid observation here. Your earlier years are by far the most crucial, and if you spend those on a school bench indebting yourself, then you start off quite behind others with less paying job, but with the proper discipline. The biggest caveat I can identify is that it's much easier to save more than a third of your income on 200K to 300K than it is on 110K. So perhaps you can save 50% of your income and catch up earlier than 60. In any case, it's definitely something to consider and to ponder on sufficiently in your younger years when deciding what careers to pursue. I think the biggest argument for me is to do something you enjoy. Those decades spent at work will feel like a game rather than a tedious never-ending grind. Alright, community. Hope you enjoyed those story and that it gives you something to reflect about. See you in the next video.